Jeff here with all my Bitcoin Renegades, and we have a new Bitcoin Renegade. His name is Steve, and he's from Disruptive Wealth Creation, and I'm glad to be here with him. I actually am really looking forward to working with this guy. He has a lot of good content, and I can't wait to pick his brain on Tesla.
Right, guys, to start with the conversation, I'm going to talk about Tesla and why I think if I had $20,000, I would invest in Tesla rather than Bitcoin. So here's my reasons for that. The first thing I would say about Tesla is it's a revolutionary company. It's a disruptive company. And in my view, the CEO, Elon Musk, is incredible. He's got a great history behind him. He's been involved in PayPal and involved in lots of successful projects. And I think that Tesla is going to explode. Now, a lot of people say that Tesla is overvalued, and they make this big mistake of calling it a car company, and it's not a car company. It's basically a tech company. So if you're looking at Tesla, don't compare it with GM or Ford or somebody like that. You've got to compare it with Apple because it's a tech company. Basically, Tesla cars are computers on wheels, okay? So let me tell you a bit about Tesla. I mean, Tesla, basically what they've done now is they've got two factories that are running. In 2020, they made 500,000 cars. These are cars that were made at Fremont and at Shanghai. And now we're hoping by the end of the year or the beginning of next year, 2022, Berlin and Texas are going to be making cars. This third quarter, Tesla made 222,000 cars. So we reckon that by the end of 2022, looking at probably 2 or 3 million cars. And Tesla are actually the leader in cars, not just in producing cars, electric cars. They're also a leader in battery technology, and they're also a leader in the semiconductors in terms of the chips that they use for autonomous driving and the future full self-driving when it happens. So just to give you a few ideas of what's going to make Tesla succeed and make it work really well. Apart from the autonomous driving and the full self-driving, which hopefully will occur maybe within the next 2 to 3 years, we've also got insurance. See, Tesla are really clever because a lot of people are worried about Tesla cars. There's been a little bit of bad press. I mean, you know, a dozen cars were involved in accidents, and all of a sudden it's headline news. And yet hundreds of thousands of cars that are not electric cars are having accidents every day, and nobody's sort of really mentioning them. So I think, you know, it's not quite fair with the way social media is treating Tesla. But what I would say is because Tesla have got literally hundreds of thousands of data on driving Tesla cars, they're able to offer a fair and a good price. So when people drive their cars, they can build up a history of the car driver, and they can offer that car driver a fair price on the insurance. And that's what's going to make the insurance of insuring with Tesla, you know, a really sort of attractive point. Another thing that Tesla are doing really well is in the energy sector, because what they've got is they've got quite a lot of charge points across the country, and not just in the UK and obviously in America, but Europe, worldwide. And they've got more sort of chargers than any of the competitors. So basically what's going to happen now is when other electric vehicle companies, whether it's VW or Nissan or anybody else, if they can't find their own charge point, Tesla's going to be offering them their charge point. So what they'll have to do is they'll have to buy like a plug, and they can plug into Tesla, and Tesla will be able to make money on other electric vehicles, okay? Wow. As well as that, there's the potential that Tesla may offer to share some of its technology, you know, whether it's to do with batteries or whether it's to do with the, you know, autonomous driving. Because to be honest with you, all the other companies are like 5 or 10 years behind. So it's not going to happen with them. So, I mean, for all those reasons, I think Tesla is a good buy. I think they're underrated, and my money's on Tesla.
I am sold. I've always liked Tesla and Elon Musk. He's a visionary, in my opinion, and I didn't know about the insurance part. That's new information. So yeah, so I think a company like Tesla that, like you said, has the tech industry on lock, when it comes to cars.
Mhm.
You know, they're more than 10 years ahead, I think. And that's where Bitcoin comes in. And I think Bitcoin's contributing to Tesla's success on social media for the first half of 2021. I think him, you know, saying that the market's overheated made people mad at the time. I was not one of those people who jumped off of the Elon Musk bandwagon when he said all of that stuff, because if he didn't say that, I think the market would have went sideways and down for a little while, and then we would have seen the end of the market. And since he did that and cooled off the market, I think Bitcoin is really anchored for success. And why, okay, now the whole point of the video is why Bitcoin or why Tesla, why would you put $20,000 in each of them? Now, I am a perfect example. I would put $20,000 into Bitcoin. I've done it, not really 20 in cash at the time, but all together more than 20. And the reason that I did that at first, I didn't put quite as much in, but once you get the feel of it and you really get into like these exchanges and the communities and everything that comes with Bitcoin, it's not just a currency. So the thing about Bitcoin is it is a society for money. It takes the power away from the government of your money, where they can go in and just freeze your accounts at any time, take what you have took your whole life to earn for even a mistake. They've taken people's money on mistakes before. Okay, and so when you have Bitcoin, they can't do that anymore because you have a decentralized wallet. Okay, so like the Coinbase hack, yeah, that stuff can happen while you have your money on exchanges. And myself, I keep my money on exchanges because they're insured. But if you don't like banks, you don't like centralization, you can be completely decentralized. Now, you could use a decentralized exchange to buy Bitcoin. You'd have to use like Ethereum and then wrapped Ethereum and then wrap Bitcoin, but you could do it completely decentralized away from any entity or centralized person. So you could basically go and buy Bitcoin from somebody else if you had to, or sell it to somebody else. It's peer-to-peer as well. And that was the original selling point for Bitcoin, but I think it's changed the narrative since then, because it was just supposed to be a peer-to-peer monetary system where you could send money to a friend or you know, a transaction in the future, Satoshi had thought. And he's brilliant, because the way that when you get Satoshi's broken down to the 800th power or whatever is where it is down here, you have 7 zeros and then a 1, which I have gone through this in some of my previous videos, which if you have Bitcoin at $1 million, when it is worth $1 million, 1 Satoshi would be worth a penny. Wow. Which is the 7 zeros and the 1. And that would be a perfect price for $1 million. I don't see Bitcoin as a monetary system going any higher than $1 million. That's the highest that it could go as a peer-to-peer monetary system. Now that we've introduced a hedge against inflation because of our society and the lack of regulation and printing money and all of the interest rates and the mortgages and everything in the world is causing our economy to be crazy. And that's why I think Bitcoin right now is the best purchase. Anything under 50,000, I have said, is a once in a lifetime buying opportunity for this bull cycle right here. Yeah. And so I want to get into some of the points that you were talking about. Bitcoin has gone up over 1,200% since its inception. Everybody knows Bitcoin. Like, not everybody knows the graph or, you know, Algorand. You can't go up to a normal person in society that doesn't really know cryptocurrency and be like, hey, you know what Algorand is? They'll be like, Alga who? Is that your grandma? You know, like, they wouldn't know what that was, but they would know what Bitcoin is, because everybody knows what Pepsi is. Everybody knows what Coke is. Everybody knows what Bitcoin is. And that's the thing. 10 years ago, or even 2017 bull run, I didn't really even know what Bitcoin. I knew Bitcoin was a thing, but I didn't know what it was. Yeah. Now that's changed a little bit. And I think that as we move forward, people are going to treat it as gold, as a digital gold. And that's why it's cool that we have some of these projects like Elrond. I'm not a big Bitcoin maximalist. I love all cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin is my favorite because it is what got me into crypto. It is what's made me the most money. And I think it is the best investment. I always tell people do 50, 25, 25. And what I mean is 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, 25% of your portfolio in Ethereum, and then 25% of your portfolio in the rest of the altcoins. And now I would like to ask you, as somebody who really is a technology mogul myself and into a lot of those things, why would it be more influential or actually more valuable to my income to choose Tesla over Bitcoin? I would like to know, because I'm really interested in investing in Tesla, but I don't know that it could bring value like Bitcoin could.
I think the reason for that is there's a few reasons. I think firstly, I mean, Tesla is obviously a company where you can invest in shares, and shares have been around for a long time, and people kind of, they have more of an understanding of shares. I mean, I'm not saying that people don't necessarily understand Bitcoin, but that the volatility of Bitcoin is something that scares people. They still kind of, they can't put the finger on the value of Bitcoin, because you know that one day they might value it at a certain point, and the next day it goes up or goes down. So I think the volatility is still a little bit of an issue for them. They're still a bit worried about the SEC and all these regulations and governments banning Bitcoin like they have in Russia, China. In fact, somebody on YouTube said to me that, you know, if Russia, China, and India ban Bitcoin, then a third of the world will not have access to Bitcoin. Now I said, well, not necessarily, because they don't need permission. They can still trade in it, you know, whether peer to peer. So that don't matter. But still, the educated ones will know that. But as I said, because of the mainstream media and the way they are, I think at the moment Tesla's more of an attractive sort of product, because you see, money is all about power, and the people that are in governments, they've got the power and they don't want to relinquish that power. And I think at the moment there's a big struggle between Bitcoin and the financial world. So obviously at some point it's going to change, and my view is that Bitcoin will win. And the reason I say that is because no offense to accountants and bankers, I mean, they do a good job, but my view is that computer analysts, artificial intelligence scientists, and computer programmers are smarter than politicians and bankers. So if there's a fight, my money's on the computer analysts. Okay, so long term, Bitcoin will win. But if we're talking like the next few years, I think for me, it's still Tesla.
Next few years. So this is a good investment to make like now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and
because
do you think that Bitcoin has anything to do with Tesla's recent success, or do you think that Tesla's recent success is why that they bought Bitcoin?
I think personally, I think Tesla would have been successful without Bitcoin, but I think where sort of Bitcoin has sort of come out tops in this sort of argument is that Elon has raised the profile of Bitcoin. You see, the thing is people are like sheep. They need a leader to sort of say, yes, I'm Bitcoin. You know, like if you've seen that movie, I'm trying to remember the movie with Kirk Douglas, where he says, what does he say in that movie? Can you remember?
You can't handle the truth.
No. What's the name of that guy? He's but anyway, it doesn't matter. So, but the long and the short of it is if you get a great leader or somebody who's who kind of validates it, and you know they've got followers, then it will succeed. And Michael Saylor himself, who obviously runs MicroStrategy, said that what we need to do is not necessarily focus on individuals, trying to get individuals into Bitcoin. If we want to get a lot of people into Bitcoin, what we need to do is we need to get PayPal, who are obviously in Bitcoin now, Venmo's in Bitcoin, Striker's in Bitcoin, because all these companies, they have got thousands and thousands of customers. So, for
Yep.
example, if we
Already.
can target Amazon and if we can target Walmart and get them on board, then it's a done deal. We've done it,
Yeah.
rather than getting individuals to do it. Get the big
And
companies that have got customers.
And to go off what you're saying there, that's the next big step. Like the Walmart news, I think was, leaked too early. It isn't Litecoin, I don't think that's going to be with Walmart, but I think they are, like you're saying, looking into crypto right now. And it is one of the biggest markets in the entire world. Now, the thing is, and why I don't know if Walmart will get into Bitcoin and everything. And there's one argument that I have to make with that. And if you can give me a reason why, then I would be like, yes, okay, I think I can see Walmart doing it. Walmart is the only country, or the only store that has a port in China. And so that means that China is heavily invested in Walmart. And so the Chinese government has already banned cryptocurrency, right? So now with Walmart being, partially Chinese business, how is that going to work with Bitcoin if cryptocurrency is banned in China?
Yeah, that is going to be a difficult one. So I think, like you say, they may tread carefully, but sort of saying that as well, Tesla have got a big factory in
China.
China as well. Now where they've got a problem is obviously with the cars, there's a lot of data, and it's data that the Chinese government are very sort of sensitive about.
Okay.
So both of the companies, whether it's Tesla or or Walmart, they're going to have to tread carefully. But I think at the end of the day, I think at some point there'll be a tipping point where Bitcoin will grow so much that you can't ignore it. You're just going to have to accept it whether you like it or not, because it's just too big. You can't just pretend it's not there.
Yeah, that's happened in the last year. 1 year from today, it's got that big. I remember nobody was talking about it. Now I walk down the road and I hear people talking about cryptocurrency. I'm serious. So,
but I think I think as it becomes more mainstream, so as you see more and more ATMs with Bitcoin on, as you see more sort of companies like Starbucks, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, where you can go in and use your Bitcoin.
Like in El Salvador, I saw a tweet about them using the Bitcoin Lightning network at McDonald's, and it was like only a $3 purchase. I'm like, man, sometimes it costs $3 to send Bitcoin, but with the Lightning network, the fees go down. You can use it at McDonald's. I even saw a video of a guy going up to a street vendor, which is somebody who is not mainstream, like just a ma and pa thing, and they have the option to take Bitcoin. And they were asked, so would you rather have cash or would you rather have Bitcoin in your, and they're like, well, we'd rather have Bitcoin for like the daily purchases, but like the people that come, and buy the bigger stuff from them, they want them to pay in cash just so they can have cash on hand. That's it. Once they have enough cash on hand for the day, they'd rather have Bitcoin because it goes up in value most of the time. And they've said there has been a few times that the volatility, like you were talking about, of Bitcoin in El Salvador has cost these shops some money because they get paid, like say they get paid $3 for, like at McDonald's for a burger. Okay, the Bitcoin goes down 10% or 9% or whatever. So now they just ended up only making $2 for a $3 burger. That could be a factor that we need to, I'm not talking against Bitcoin, but these are some of the issues that will come up and arise in a society. Now, the reason that they're trying it out on El Salvador first before these other countries like Panama, Paraguay, you have a lot of these different countries that are starting to follow suit. Ukraine is starting to be friendly towards Bitcoin laws. There is just lots of different countries that are getting on board. And before a big country like the United States or even like Canada or Mexico, I think I don't know why I think this, but I think Mexico is going to be on board before the US. Right. For some reason, I think it's not going to be the peso in Mexico anymore. It's going to be the Bitcoin. And it's heading that way for the world. Now, I don't think that Bitcoin is going to overtake any monetary system in the first world country. If we ever adopt Bitcoin in the United States or in Britain or any of these big mainstream areas, we are definitely going to have it side by side with the power, with the government currency. That, like you said, the government is not going to relinquish power. Now, I want to ask you, because I don't know how Tesla is doing right now. I know Bitcoin is zooming, and Tesla bought in at like $33,500, right? So I want to know from you, has that raised the price of Tesla? And where do you see Elon going from here? Do you see him buying more Bitcoin for Tesla or for himself? Or do you see him just keeping what he has, selling at the top, and then buying in again? Or do you think he's just in a one-time, one and done thing? And do you think, one more thing, do you think that they will reintroduce payments in Tesla with Bitcoin?
I think that Elon will sort of engage more with Bitcoin because basically, I mean, he was involved with PayPal and stuff like that, so he knows all about money and currencies, and he's not too happy with Joe Biden, even though personally, you know, I don't want to get into politics. I prefer Biden to Trump. Because I think Trump was a
I don't like his administration as much, like in his laws, but as a person, yeah, I agree.
So anyway, so you know, politics aside, I think I think Elon will sort of stick with Bitcoin. I mean, I know.
And how do you think he'll do that? How do you think he will buy in over the long term? Do you think he will just sell at the top and buy at the bottom like a pro, or what do you think he'll do?
To be honest with you, I can't read his mind, because obviously we know with Dogecoin he's sort of been up and down with that. So Bitcoin, who knows? I really couldn't say, but I think because he's a tech person, I think he will support Bitcoin. But I don't know is the answer to that question. I mean, in terms of sort of Bitcoin, I think it's attractive in as much as it becomes more accepted sort of worldwide, it just makes it easier to transact in Bitcoin, because you see, the point is, if you buy a Tesla car in England, because of the exchange rate and stuff like that, it's a different price to in America or Europe or different countries. So Bitcoin would be attractive for Tesla, because, you know, if he could give you a price in Bitcoin, and whether you're buying it in Africa, Germany, England, America, it's the same price. So it makes sense. It does make sense. So I think long term he will sort of come around to that way of thinking. Yeah, so I think that, I mean, I'm very sort of excited about El Salvador, and
me too.
And I like the fact that obviously now all these hardworking El Salvadorians that are sending money back home to their country, they're actually getting more value now, because they're not getting ripped off by these money exchanges. So
Western Union.
That's huge, and that's really good. And you know, the more people, the more people, you know, we can get into sort of working, you know, in these little businesses and stuff like that. Hopefully, that will reduce crime in El Salvador, and obviously solve all the other sort of problems that they've got. But yeah, I mean, I can see in the long run, and it sounds like a crazy thing to say, I can see the third world becoming the first world, and I can see sort of countries like, you know, that we regard as, you know, being sort of at the top of the you know, tree, you know, like in the Western world, going down if they don't accept Bitcoin. I can see that, you know. Yeah.
That's a big worry of politicians as well. And that's why they're trying to regulate it, but they're doing it in a good way, I think, because some administrations in the past, like leaving politics out of it, they would have destroyed Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think with everything that happened, it ushered even our leaders into this new era, because it's undeniable. They can't deny $3 trillion.
That's right. Yeah.
That is so much money. And when something has the power of $3 trillion, it makes everybody's heads turn and look at that, because
oh god, yeah,
here, you know, you don't gain a $3 trillion market cap without having staying power. And so they know Bitcoin is here to stay. They know crypto is here to stay, with NFTs, with all the altcoins out there, with Dogecoin being some meme coin.
Yeah.
Then they have freaking Shiba Inu and all these other cryptocurrencies that bring the market cap up. But that drains so fast. That's the thing. And what you were talking about, the volatility earlier, that's something that all of these countries need to be weary of when they bring in Bitcoin. They need to do it at the right time. I think El Salvador bringing in Bitcoin when it was down at $30,000 brought so much value to that and so much value to the country. Now that it's up at 50,000, almost 48,000, 47,886 right now. And we are so close to that $50,000 range. That's almost $20,000 higher than what they got it in El Salvador at. So every McDonald's burger that was sold, every Ma and Pa burger, burrito, whatever was sold is now worth almost double.
Right.
So if they would have held their Bitcoin, if they would have had diamond hands, they would be in the profit right now. So I want to, start to wrap this up. I love everything that you said about Tesla. When do you think, or are they going to accept Bitcoin again as payment? That's the last question I want to ask you.
Well, I think once the two new factories at Berlin and the other factory in Texas are up and running, and they start exporting more and more cars abroad, I think that's when they'll probably sort of get into Bitcoin more. So, Jeff, that's me. I rest my case. On a personal note, I have $50,000 invested in Tesla and $5,000 in Bitcoin. So I believe in both. Stay safe and look forward to seeing you in another collaboration soon. Bye.
Guys, that being said, you know what time it is? Goodbye and good Bitcoin. Bang!